Okay, right. So this is just a few warm-up exercises, not the full warm-up set that is taught as part of this form. Okay, so we're just going to begin with this loosening of the neck. So just really don't try and put any tension into the neck as you do this. I find it quite useful just at this stage when I'm just doing the neck and the shoulders to support my hands like this so that I don't have any weight on the shoulders. And just allowing the neck to swing from side to side, and start to use this opportunity as you work your way down the spine. So now my shoulders are engaging a little bit. There's a little bit of sway in the shoulders. The arms will drop slightly. But use this opportunity as you're swinging down the spine to really relax all the muscles of the face and any tension around the jaw. As I get to somewhere between the shoulder blades, I can release my arms and I can allow the arms to start to swing a little bit as well. Try and keep the swinging at the point that you're focusing on. So now I'm between my shoulder blades and everything above. So everything below is still not moving. So you're just sort of swinging from a point that you've picked on your spine. And gradually, bit by bit, and you can really extend this exercise by doing it vertebrae by vertebrae. But I'm just doing it in vague groups as I work my way down the spine. And you're swinging lower and lower. Remember, the 70% rule dictates that you don't go further than is comfortable for you. So you don't need to bend low. But if you keep swinging down, keep loosening up, keep relaxing the muscles of the face. Really relax the arms, put no tension in the arms, allow them to just swing freely with the torso. And then eventually you'll get down to the lower spine, towards the lumbar vertebrae. And the hands, if you are bending fully, the hands will be coming close to touching the toes. And really make sure that you're not looking up with your head at this stage. Your head is really hanging down heavy. Okay, and all the muscles of the face relax and just breathe. And when you get to the bottom of the spine, you can engage the sacrum a little bit and allow your hips to move from side to side as well. And then just hang there for a moment. Just allow everything to relax out. You can jiggle a bit if you need to. Make sure your knees are not locked. There's a slight bend in the knees, but the legs are generally straight. And then moving your weight from side to side, but still hanging down, allowing one leg to straighten slightly, the other one to bend slightly. If you want a bit more of a stretch, what you do is you bend the empty leg and straighten the leg that's becoming weighted. It's opposite to what you're thinking. And you'll feel a bit more of a stretch in your legs. And for those of you that want to, you can turn in your heels or turn out your toes and you can squat down. You don't have to do this. Support the insides of the knees with your elbows so that they don't collapse inwards. The knees are over the feet. And just a little bit of bouncing to open up that whole area around the perineum and the groin. Really let the sacrum hang down. And again, you can spend as much time down there as you like. But we'll just straighten the feet again. And now coming back up the spine, swinging from the sacrum, swinging up. Vertebrae by vertebrae, or just in groups of vertebrae. The lower body becoming stiller and stiller as your upper body continues to swing. And then eventually you'll reach the point where you're back at the head. And you can settle again. Let me just make a little adjustment here to my screen because I am recording this. There we go. Okay, so that's hopefully loosened up the spine a little bit, and you can do just a little bit more sort of loosening of the hips if you like. Just shaking out the shoulders, getting rid of any tension. We're going to take our attention now to the arms. So this is better done in a bow stance, okay, and you know, usually settle into a standard bow stance. Okay, so there's a 45 degree in the back foot, and the front foot is facing forward. Okay, but don't worry about what you're doing with your legs. And what you're going to do is you're just going to start swinging the arms. So we're going to start now. I've got my left foot forward, so I'm swinging my right arm. Okay, and to begin with, I'm just swinging it very loosely. Okay, just allowing a little bit of hip movement to drive the arm action. But what I'm also going to do now, after I've done a few of these, is pay particular attention to the joints in the arm. Okay, so as I'm swinging forward here, for the next couple of swings, I'm going to be thinking of the wrist joint, and I'm thinking like I'm pushing, then relax, pushing, relax, pushing, relax. Okay, so you're starting to become aware that even though you're swinging loosely, you're activating some Tai Chi-ness in the movement. It's not just an aerobic exercise. Then relax the wrist, think about the elbow. How do you bring the elbow into that swing? Relax, elbow, relax, elbow, relax, elbow. Then shoulder, bigger swing, relax, relax, shoulder, shoulder. Then change legs, same on the other side, just loose swings. I've got right foot forward, so it's the left arm. Loose swings first, just to let all the joints come loose. And then hand push, the wrist joint. Wrist joint creates a focus. So you could think of this as like brush knee, yeah? It has that brush knee quality to it. And that's part of the reason that we're doing it. These are Tai Chi warm-ups, not just aerobic warm-ups. So we're putting Tai Chi qualities into the movement. Elbow, release, elbow, release. Shoulder, roll. Have a focused intent as you roll forward, and then relax with the backward arc. Don't worry so much about the backward arc, but focus on that throwing action of the shoulder. You notice that sometimes I involve the other arm just to create that quality in the movement. Then we're going to change legs again. And now briefly, just doing it on the other side. You can do this for as long as you like. We're going to go to backward rolling circles, hand or wrist. So like pushing behind you, your head will turn slightly as well, pushing behind you. Elbow behind you, release, elbow, release. Shoulder, backward rolling shoulder. You can use both arms if you like. Really allow your hip track and your waist to start to activate a little bit now. So we're starting to warm up the torso as well as the arms. And then changing legs, backward rolls with the arm, wrist pushing behind you, release. Elbow. Remember, you're doing this as Tai Chi warm-up, so keep a Tai Chi-ness in all your movements, shoulder. Think about possible applications. Think about movements in the form where you might be able to use these kinds of movements. And then coming back square into a horse stance. Okay, we're just going to swing both arms forward like this. And then the hands are going to cross in the middle. And then as they separate, you're going to squat down and push to the side, going down. Okay, and then swing back up the other way. Swing down, push, swing up. Swing down. So we're doing a qua squat here. We're keeping the knees still. And we're sinking into the inguinal fold, the qua. And the hands are overlapping. And you can change the overlap. So right on top, and then left on top. Okay, good. So that's just a small selection of some of the movements of the arms. Now we go to the legs. We'll begin by warming up the legs. So we just start with our weight on one side and begin by just having the ball of the foot on the ground, really rotating that ankle joint one way and then the other. Your bodies should start to feel a little bit more lively by now, yes? They should be a bit more awake. There's a bit more warming up going on. So we're starting to get ready for Tai Chi in a real way now. And then taking the foot off the ground, doing sweeping circles to the side. You can put the sole of the foot on the ground if you've got balance problems, but keep your weight on one side, then the other way. And then the other foot. Keep the ball of the foot on first, loosen the ankle. Turn the other way. There's always one way that doesn't work well. Then foot off the ground, doing sweep. Oops, this is going to be tricky. Sweeping actions. The other way. Okay, good. And then now some stepping exercises. We go back into our, well, actually, let's begin with a horse stance first, just settling back into horse stance. And just for a few moments, we're going to change weight from side to side. And what we want to focus on here is this settled point in the middle and then driving through the leg that's becoming empty as we go to the other side. The hips remain level as you do this. Both legs are active. The receiving leg is resisting the movement slightly, and the driving leg is, of course, pushing. But always this important thing here is this settling in the middle, then drive. Settle in the middle, drive. And then turning out one foot. Come into a standard bow stance. Okay, and this is about hip width with the back foot at about 45 degrees. I'm going to settle my hip roughly in the middle of the posture, so that means I'm going to be turned to the side slightly, and now I'm going to drive forward following the hip track. Relax back to center, drive into the back leg following the hip track. Relax, drive, and just as you warm up the legs with this movement, really stay focused on that central equilibrium point, that point where everything relaxes before the drive, then drive. Okay, this is very important to start to understand the phases of the stance. So we release, settle, drive. Release, settle, drive. Now come back to center, turn out the front foot 45 degrees. Bring your weight into it, turning the hips. Then release the waist a little bit to draw in the back foot, toe to heel step. Standard bow stance, which is hip width. Settle to the middle, and now driving on the other side. So we're exercising both legs as the back leg, just getting used to this settling in the middle before driving to the back, settling in the middle, driving to the front. And stepping as many times as you like, okay? You might just do a few, adjust your stance, come forward, settle, drive. And what you might experiment with, and this is part of Angela's question, is when you decide to step, okay, you may decide that you want to change your stance. Okay, so here I'm going to step into a wide bow stance as opposed to a standard bow stance, which means that when I step, I'm going to be about shoulder width, and also I'm not going to turn out my foot so much. Okay, so when I come into it, I'm kind of encouraging myself to step a little bit wider. Now I have a wide bow stance, and I can do the same exercise here, driving backwards and forwards. So we're really using these warm-ups to focus on the principles that we use in the form. So they're Tai Chi warm-ups. So they mustn't just be aerobic exercises, okay? You need to have this Tai Chi intent associated with the movement. Okay, so when you think you've done enough of these leg warm-ups, what you can also do is step back, okay, like we do in Repulse Monkey. So you settle into the back leg, but this time withdraw the front foot, step it back at an angle, then turn out the front heel as you settle and drive yourself back. And then you can go backwards and forwards a few times if you want, or you can just continue to step back, adjust the front foot, come forward again. Okay, so we're starting to integrate stepping forward and back. And then what we can do is, I'm doing these quite quickly, but I want you can use the video to lengthen your practice of this, is turn out the front foot to my standard stance again, bring my weight forward into it, but this time as I step, I draw the knee up. And I could do Golden Rooster, or I could do kick. Release, twist step, come forward, and just do a straight step. Backwards and forwards again. This time as I step, I turn out the foot, but before I put it down, I'm going to draw the knee up, Golden Rooster, okay, and kick. Release, twist step, come forward and step again. Okay, so we can do that as many times as you like, practicing your bow stances forward and backwards, different types of bow stances. I looked at the standard and the wide, but we can also turn out our foot even more strongly past 45 degrees and come into a single whip posture, narrow bow stance. And here we have to, as we go backwards and forwards, driving in this stance, we have to use our waist a little bit more as we come forward, okay? Because the hips won't turn fully to the front, so we use the waist a bit more. So we can use all these warm-ups to actually practice our stances, okay? So I'm just going to finish off a few minutes working on some of the energies, okay, as part of the warm-up. So now that we've got our bodies all woken up, right, we should have a little bit of chi flowing in the body. So we're going to stand in our horse stance, okay? You can go up to shoulder width in your horse stance, that's okay, but hip width is fine as well. And we're just going to get into arm, pushing down, sinking into the legs, releasing into pung. So this has a quality of commencement to it, yes? So arm, or push down into pung. Ward off. Elbows nice and heavy, shoulders down. Pressurize into the armpits, release the elbows, sit the wrists. Release, open. Do that a few times. And then the next time you come into pung, or ward off, rotate the arms out slightly so this is an outward pung, okay? This, and then arm forward, just like we do push in grass bird's tail. Release, pung out, pung forward, arm forward, sorry. Pung out, arm forward. And then keeping this arm position, again, I'm going through these quite quickly, but you can pause the video and replay them or practice them a bit more. So from this arm pushing forward, release one side and go liu, or roll back. This is just like in grass bird's tail. Push back with that released arm and come back into arm. On the other side, release, turn from the center to the side, but not too much, then spring back, push. Arm to liu, or roll back. Release, push. Try and involve the whole body in all these energy exercises. So the push and the pang or the liu all comes from the legs, the torso connecting up. Try and get a feel for that happening. This time when you come forward, pang on both arms, like this, and then ji or press. One hand touches in at the wrist and you press to the side. Release back to pang. Ji, from center to the side, release back to center, pang. Ji, pressure to the side, release, pang. The more you practice these energies in the warm-ups, the more you'll start to understand the subtlety of them. They're very small movements, but there's an awful lot of internal action going on if you look for it and feel for it, okay? So that was pang to ji. And then in a ji position, you're going to separate the hands and go liu. Then turn the hands over, ji to center, liu to the other side. So this is ji or press to roll back, to press. Pressing just to the center, then going to the side for roll back. Release, turn the hands over, ji to center, liu to the side. And then come back to the center, opening the hands into pang. Push down. Feet together. Just a few circles of the arms, breathing in, nice big deep breaths. All the way to the head top and the fingertips, and then everything relaxing back down into the legs. And then a little shake out. So that's a cut down version of the warm-ups. Stop the recording.